Hello and welcome back to Taki Space Program with me, Taki117. So, I think I figured out why I was having such a problem in the last episode. It was episode 13. So, hopefully this time around things will go a lot better. So here we are at the launch site. Gangway is retracted. Launching in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yes, we have some new camera angles thanks to one of the many mods I've added. Once again, I forgot to adjust my staging to account for the launch escape system. So, unfortunately, these guys, if something goes wrong, are just going to have to deal with it. As you can see, I've also swapped out the engine. This one has a little more gimbal. Hopefully it isn't going to be... Hopefully it's going to be enough. I've also adjusted the thrust there. Look at all this stuff. I need that one. Come on. There we go. So far so good. I'm gonna roll into that's that. Let's just watch this beautiful rocket launch. Look at that. You can see the fins adjusting here, trying to keep us in a zero roll condition as we ascend upwards. So I'm starting to get into a lot of the automation now. My unmanned rockets are starting to be able to fly themselves. This is good. Basically this means I can kind of sit back, relax, and just enjoy the view. So here we go. Our apoapsis is above the atmosphere. I'm going to go ahead and cut engines there. I do want to maintain orbit prograde so that, you know, my rocket is rather aerodynamic. It goes through the atmosphere very easily, and I want to keep that. At least until I can get out of the atmosphere, and then it's just not an issue. And there we go. So, I've completed the suborbital part. I now have to return them back. So I'm going to go ahead and point retrograde. Now, there is a computer on board this. It does have a probe core. Fortunately, I do still have control, I believe. Just in case, I'm going to set my parachute up to deploy at about 3 kilometers. There we go. Alright, now that we are pointing retrograde, coming down, I'm going to go ahead and jettison this first stage. There it goes. This exposes my heat shield, and hopefully I can maintain retrograde through the entire re-entry. So there's There's my booster. It still has plenty of fuel left. But right now we're just going to sit back, relax, and enjoy the view. There's the moon up there. Beautiful Earth down there. I'm a little concerned about that booster because it's probably going to slow down faster than I am, which means it has the potential to come back and hit me. Doesn't actually look like that's going to happen, which is good. We are heating up a little bit. Currently at about 20 kilometers. Point surface retrograde now. A lot of camera shake there. So this was actually a fairly gentle re-entry, which is good. That's what I wanted. No reason to scare these guys, because then they won't tell their friends and I won't get any more business. So now that we're below 10 kilometers, I'm just going to go ahead and turn my stability system off. And we're just gonna fall. At this point, gravity is taking over. We are going to land in the water, which is good. I prefer water landings because there is sort of a give there. They do have just a little bit of extra, you know, parts, at least for me, seem to survive better in the water. Hitting land, it's really hit or miss, but as long as you're below the crash tolerance of the part, usually about 10 meters a second for command pods, you should be fine. As you can see, I'm dropping at about 3.5 meters a second, so as soon as I recover these guys, that should complete my contract and give me quite a few funds. Tourist contracts generally are very lucrative. They pay very well and give you lots of reputation usually. Beautiful water there, and touchdown. Go ahead and recover that. Let's see if we have any more similar missions. And I think that's going to be my normal tourist ferry now, because it seems to work rather well. Some staging issues, but I can work around that. And at least for suborbital flights. I mean, orbital and other destination flights are going to require different rockets, obviously. So you have 812 funds, which is good. Let's head to mission control. Still need a Kerbal in orbit for 30 days, but I don't really want to do that. I could do more tourist contracts. See, this says 4 tourists. This one only has 2. Position satellites in specific orbits. I don't really want to do any of these, so I'm going to focus on the one I already have, the Luna 3 mission. So it's in the process of being built. So like I said, this mission is simply just going to fly by the moon. It's not going to do a whole lot. I am going to transmit some science from around the moon. But the important part for this mission is it has to come back into Earth orbit. So that could be interesting. It is the same design as my Luna 2 craft, same rocket, You know, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. I have 71 science, not quite to the 90 I need to unlock heavy rocketry, which I think is going to be my next thing that I unlock, because it's got some pretty cool engines there. Now, this one doesn't have the cool camera angles, and that was kind of an experiment I did just to see how that would work. I actually like the way it looks, so give me some feedback, tell me if you like it. If you do, I'll be sure to put more cameras on my rockets so that we can take a look. Get some more NASA-like footage there, which is really my ultimate goal, I think. So, anyway, I'd like to shout out to all the people that have taken a look at my videos. Thank you. If you like them, go ahead and like them, subscribe. But I don't do this for you guys, I do it for me. It's something I want to do. But yeah, it's always nice to get some feedback. So here we go, once again setting up our fuel balance, going out of our boosters and into our core, so that as we ascend, our core maintains its fuel level until the boosters run out, at which point we drop the boosters and our core is good to go. So we're going to throttle up, hit that, and this is going towards the moon. So we're going to set the moon as our target. Check our relative inclination, we're off by about 17 degrees. We'll warp until that drops to pretty close to 0. So we're at 4 degrees now. 3, 2, 1. There we go. I like to be less than half a degree off. Okay, so we're as close as we're gonna get, 0.25 degrees. 3, 2, 1. Ignition and liftoff. And my reason for that is simply because it's less I have to worry about. So, like I said, I'm starting to get into a little bit more automation. This smart assistant, for lack of a better word, basically keeps my rockets pointed in the right direction. Getting a little ahead of myself here. Don't break apart. Do not. So things are not going at all as planned. Basically what happened was I got too far off of prograde. Now I need to correct that, and unfortunately, yeah, there goes my rocket. All the pieces. But I might still be able to save this. Low point surface retrograde. Kill all that. Activate that engine. Bring up our surface information. don't think I'm going to be able to do it. Let's see if I can deploy some things here. No, not really. Yeah, this particular engine was not designed for atmospheric operations, so I'm going to lose this probe. So that is unfortunate. A lot of the early automation, the early autopilot, is simply just trial and error. Probably should have flown that one manually, but it happens. These things happen. So we're going to go back. We're not going to make any changes to that rocket. We're just going to rebuild it. But we are going to accept a couple more contracts so that we can make up the funds for that lost rocket. Specifically the 2 tourists on a suborbital trajectory. I might even try and put a Kerbal in orbit. The reason I'm not doing the Kerbal in orbit for 30 days specifically is because I simply don't have enough life support. So, I do want to open up my tourist rocket and build it mostly to have on standby. You know, just in case. I do want to accept that 2 tourist contract just so I can make up some of the funds, maybe get some of the reputation back. Did not mean to click there. So this is the space plane hangar. You'll notice that it is oriented 90 degrees to the vehicle assembly building, which is where I've normally been building my rockets. And this allows you to build planes. And they will launch to the runway instead of the launch pad. You know, as you can see, parts are placed on their side rather than up and down. Other than that, it works identical to the vehicle assembly building. So just if you want to build planes, you go in there. If you want to build rockets, you go to the vehicle assembly building. I haven't dealt with planes yet. Version 1.1.3 is a little finicky when it comes to the wheels. That is, however, fixed in version 1.2, which is coming out soon. Big soon there. They do have the public pre-release up. I won't be upgrading to 1.2 for a while, simply because not all of my mods are going to be updated probably anytime soon, and honestly I might not go to 1.2 at all in this series. So I want to okay. So I need 1 satellite. Okay. Then that's really all I want to do now. I don't think I have, or I don't think the satellites I have enough range to reach the inner planets. The one I'm specifically worried about is Mercury. It is the farthest away from Earth as you move towards the Sun. So, we need to design a satellite that can hopefully accommodate that, but is also light enough that I can still use my standard launcher, and I might just have to design a completely new launcher for this. That is a really big antenna. I might actually use that. Let's see, not quite 2.5 meters, but it has, ow, it's dumb, it doesn't even have a range, so I can't even use it. Let's see, that one's 25 gigameters. See if I have anything that's longer than that. It's 90 megameters. It's definitely not going to reach. It's 40 gigameters. Ooh. This is good. It's all compact. So let's plop it on there and deploy it, see what it looks like. Oh, I like that. Cool. So it just folds up all nice and neat there. You can put other stuff on top of it. Like this maybe. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to check and see that that doesn't happen. I don't like that that is happening. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and build a satellite that will hopefully have enough range to reach the inner planets. And go ahead and launch it. And next episode. So, until then, I'm Taki117, and remember, it's only rocket science.